I am live and my studio is a mess. Jeff is already here. Bill K is checking in. Thanks for joining as we wind up. See, Tim's already here watching live from the Majestic Princess cruise ship. Oh, that's right. Tim's on a cruise. And Dane is here, #1 troll killer on the job, wearing an aventurine dial Venezianico. I still haven't opened it. I mentioned it last time. Where's it at? It's over there. I still have not opened it. I have that brand here and I have not opened it. I need to do so. Todd is here. Billy's checking in from the East Coast. I don't have a topic. I mean, I guess I kind of have some topics. We always have topics. There's definitely topics to be talked about. And I know the big one is going to be cost, price. So that's always a strong topic, but sometimes it's influenced by other forces. Let's see, Joe is here. Chris, YZ80's here. Shinobi's here. I don't know why you say that. I like both those brands very much. Tennessee Mike is here. Long Island John, Doug, Nick, Colt 357 Python checking in from SC, South Carolina. I did not sleep well last night. So a good portion of the day. Steve's checking in from SoCal at Mimo's. I was thinking I wasn't going to do a live stream. That's how the lack of sleep I had last night, and then just rolling through the day, doing my job and everything. And then I came home, and the wife and I went for like a 3-mile walk, which where I live, a 3-mile walk is, well, a 3-mile walk is normally fine, but a 3-mile walk where I live, it's hills. There's hills everywhere. So 3 miles is a little harder than just flat. So yeah, and it was like 85. I know Dane says Florida's really warm, but it's like 85 here too. So yeah, I did that walk and came back and just had a very simple dinner, and kind of perked me up a little bit. So Dane says no hills in Florida, so he walks 4 miles. Yeah, the hills really change the walk for sure, but I like it. So, whoa, 2 lives in a row. That's right. I literally said that to my wife. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a record. I did a live last week, and I'm gonna do one today. So 2 back to back. I mean, I was doing them on the regular, and then I kind of took a break. So let's see. Fedora John is checking in from San Francisco Bay Area. It's one of my favorite parts of California. I have not explored all of California, so I reserve the right to change my favorite area. But the Bay Area is high on my list, partly because of the people that I know there. That's definitely an impact on it. But I actually really like the area. Doug, are we talking Invicta? I don't know. How did that video do? I forget. Let me. When did I post that? Did I post that today? Yeah, I did. I posted that today. So 1.9 thousand views, so just under 2,000, has 46 comments. Shall we read the comments? We could actually, I think it might be more entertaining to read the comments on the Invicta video. Let's do that. Let me see. I think I go here, and then I drag this over to here, and then I can go here. That's not good. Okay, go here, community. No, let's go content, Invicta. Can I not do it that way? Can I do it this way? Okay, I think it's on. Okay, let's look at Let's look at the comments. I think it might be more fun to look at the comments on the Invicta video than talking about Invicta. Surfer John says, let's do a Ventura meetup. That would be fun. Let's see. Dane, go for your 4-mile walk. By the time you come back, we'll be done talking about Invicta. I'm guessing it takes you roughly an hour. Tennessee Mike says, likes the shirt. Thank you very much. Dane, Jonathan is Fedora John. If your name matches there, like help me out. I'll read it. All right, let me do share screen. Let's go window. It's this one. Okay, so it's this one. Okay. So I can't really highlight, but depends on what you're watching this on. I don't know if you guys can see these as good as I can. So 11 minutes ago, if you're looking for a no-nonsense beater, Invicta watches are great. Just the size of them, massive, which is true. There's a ton of them, but there's a lot of brands that have massive ones. And these are not necessarily in chronological order. Richard says, Invicta was my gateway, and that's the case for a lot of people. So, and he still owns some. So he's fine with it. There's going to be polar opposites here. There's not going to be probably any in-betweens in these comments. It's going to be they either kind of respect Invicta from their past or from even current, or there's going to be people that are just like, Dane, that is just like, no, they're the devil. Leave me alone. So let's see. Tony says Invicta 40 mil pro diver all day long. When you want a budget diver, that's true. Tomcat says you just got 1953 days ago. Bluesy like yours years ago. Okay. This is how long? That's a pretty long comment. I don't really read really long comments. I'm kind of, this is bad, but I'm kind of looking more for the hate. Like this guy, he says, I liked your first Invicta video, which I think he's referring to the one where I shot an Invicta Bluesy, and it was actually like a Disney one. It had Mickey on the dial. It was a buddy of mine's. I think that's what it was. It was a Bluesy at least, and I shot it with a 9mm pistol. Never did find like a good portion of the watch, like the case and everything. I never did find it. Woody says making Invicta great again. Gumby says for the best prices, get them on a cruise ship. I don't think that's true. I've never been on a cruise ship, but I think they're kind of expensive. Dr. Windsurf says these are great mod bases. That is very true. People have been modding these Invictas, the 40 mil pro divers, sanding off the Invicta on the side and doing all kinds of stuff for them. Plus you get that great Seiko movement. So I'm going to skip over some of the ones that are like totally good with it. If Invicta pulled back on just making mostly one-dimensional Rolex dive-style watches and did original pieces, the funny part is Invicta has done an insane amount of original pieces. I might have some, but they also have done a ton of like copies. So they do both. Where did you get the black band from? Looks like the black band that was on the Invicta I showed is actually a smooth FKM rubber strap from Strap Habit, the official sponsor and strap of the Random Rob YouTube channel. Antonio says, I've owned one for 17 years and still going strong. Popular. Where do you get those black G-Shock action figures? All over the place, eBay and stuff. They're hard to get now. Aaron's Watches says, I've had a couple in the early 2000s. One filled up with water and the hands fell off the other one, so I gave up on them. Maybe I'll go back if QC is better. I don't know if QC is better. I've owned a bunch of Invictas. I've never had a problem with any Invictas. I've never tested their water resistance, and I've never been rough with them to potentially expose a quality control issue with the hand setting. But that can happen on any watch, and I've seen it on some high-end watches, and I've seen it on some low-end watches. Here we go. 44 Magpie. And here I thought you were a serious watch channel. No. Myself and most people I know would not be caught dead wearing one of those pieces of Chinese garbage with their disingenuous marketing strategy. That's actually true. Preying on the ignorant and uninformed. On the bright side, for every watch made, those Chinese slave kids get an extra half cup of rice. I don't know where watches are made, how they're made, who they're made by, but that's a controversy across all brands. So you can't just pigeonhole Invicta into that. But he's not wrong. That marketing thing is insane, where you see crazy inflated prices and then they knock off. I don't know, like a huge reduction in price. I don't understand that logic. If you're gonna come looking for a collaboration, know the models you're presenting in the pitch video. I don't know. I've done pretty good not knowing a lot of things so far. Let's see. Hoping to see a pearl clutching at the comments. Yeah. So, Mr. I don't know how to say that. Hoping to see pearl clutching of the and that's what. Yeah, that's what's going to happen here. So, there's controversy. I mean, I could post up any watch and you read the comments and they're ridiculous. So. There you go. Octavio just says no. Very simple, to the point. No, he's not on board with Invicta. Let's see. Here we go. Notorious Kit says, is this April 1st? If I want a cheap Chinese watch with low specs, I'll buy a watch on AliExpress for 30 pounds. Not an Invicta. Dear Lord. And then those are what, ice cream emojis or something? Oh, here's Dane's comment. Invicta, buy one, get 10 free. The video made me laugh, and it shouldn't. Let's see. Funk 10 says, okay, how much is Invicta paying you? So these watches, I have no affiliation with Invicta. Those watches belong to somebody else that I've been selling these watches on the Random Rob Buyers Club. So, which I happen to have like 40 Invictas from that collection that I'll sell, and they'll sell. There'll be a dramatic reduction in price because that's what they do. They tank. But there's going to be people that want them. I mean, there's like, I'm buying this one. I'm buying the standard one, the just all black on black classic one. I wore it for like 3 days in a row. I like it. So, let's see. But no, it was not a sponsored video. So I have opportunity for content that I would never have to take a sponsored video. But at my scale and how much video content I put out, it makes sense for me to have relationships with authorized dealers and brands that end up being sponsored videos, because it gives me more current and relevant content versus just showing the watches that I have access to on a regular basis. It really opens up the spectrum of that video content that I can offer to the watch community. So that's why I do sponsored videos. Hey, Larry C's here. I'll try to catch some comments in the live chat too, but I want to scroll through. Oh, that's the end. Lord Bertlesworth says, I just can't with Invicta. I can't take them seriously. And that's fine. Brown Hair Dog says, is Exquisite selling the no. And you'll not see an Invicta in Exquisite timepieces. It's actually pretty crazy that Invicta or that Exquisite offers like the entry level of like Seiko and some other brands. It's pretty crazy that Exquisite, because when you go down there in Naples, Florida, you get the immediate sense of like you're in an area of the country where there's great wealth, and you kind of get that vibe when you go into their store as well. But yeah, you're not going to see brands such as Invicta on uh, with any of the ADs I work with. So I don't even know where you buy Invicta. Honestly, I put a Amazon affiliate link in the video just in because I just thought I'm like, well, I think Amazon has them. So um, and they do, but Travis Trap Vision 3D just jumped in. I don't know, Travis, if you want to mention. Are you done with the cruise, by the way? But either way, if there, where's the best place to buy Invicta? I mean, that's definitely more your world. So I honestly don't know because it's been a long time since I bought a new Invicta, and I think even when I did buy a new Invicta, I think it was either eBay or Amazon. I've never bought like Invicta store or. Um, Nick says you can buy Invicta watches at J.C. Penney. Seriously? There's a company, a bigger company that just bought out some of J.C. Penney. Um, but it's a weird deal because J.C. Penney is still going to be JC. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Yes, I have done the 1953. I have some here as part of this sale. I mean, I used to own one, but I can't remember if I sold it or if I still have it. Oh, Dane says there's an Invicta store in the city. So there's still Invicta retailers, apparently. Trap says JCP costs too much when it comes to Invicta. So not a good place unless they do like a clearance or you have like points or I don't know how that works. You know, you can get like points with some retailers and then you can get good deals. Aaron says lots of Invictas at Goodwill. So that's a potential option as well. Anyway, I think that's probably enough about Invicta. Invicta owns Glycine. Yeah, so they own a bunch of things, and Glycine is one of them, and Glycine's awesome. So there you go. But in the same sense that like Swatch Group owns a bunch of things, or Reachmont owns a bunch of things, like there's companies or like Fossil owns Zodiac and stuff like that. So like there's all these tiers to the industry. I don't think they killed him. They offered some life to him. Honestly, Glycine's doing fine. Brick and mortar stores only make sense when you buy multiple. Okay. The fact that there's stores in multiple areas, whether it's Miami or near Sarasota or wherever Dr. Bob's is, there's outlets. The fact that there's stores online and other retailers carrying them leads me to believe, in the same sense as like Fossil or Michael Kors or any of these other brands that most of us could give two craps about, exist means that their sales are doing well. They sell a lot of watches. So new Christopher Ward coming out at the end of the month. That'll be cool. But I'm assuming all you guys got the email. Well, Paul, that'll actually lead us into the 39% tariff that is impending doom on the watch community. And it's not going to be, that's too big of a cost for the brands to, to take on. So that is going to be passed on to the consumer, us, for sure. Now, what it does to the industry, hopefully it's somewhat temporary. I suspect it probably will be, but temporary is relative, I suppose. Drew's asking what G-Shock is on my wrist. It's the OG 5610. It's the more original module. I forget the module number. And then I put it on an old combi bracelet. So it's kind of like my work watch. So, and then Paul brings up the new Jack Mason Limited coming out soon as well. I've been talking to Peter over at Jack Mason. So I'm very curious to see more so. I get it. The 39% is going to hit all the Swiss brands, right? The Rolex, the Omega, all the marquee ones, right? Like all the big ones are all going to get hit. Which means the authorized dealers are going to get hit, which means we're going to get hit. It's going to get passed on downstream to the end consumer, which is us, unless you're a serial flipper. And then, well, that brings up another point. If you're a serial flipper, what does that do to the secondary price? What is a 39% tariff do on new purchases when there's a ton of pre-owned watches out there and buyers and sellers in that community? If the 39% ends up not being temporary, if it ends up being more of a long-term concern for the watch community, this is just watches, guys. We're just talking watches, but this is going to touch everything. So, um, okay, Dr. Bob's brings up a good point. See, I don't even know what I don't know, right? 39% on import duty is much less than 39% on MSRP. So we're not really talking like a nearly a 40% increase in the total price. It's going to be some other weird calculation. And it's probably stacked too. It's probably not like a straight 39. It's probably like a 10, a 25, and whatever. So, but regardless, things are going to cost more. Well, does that mean when you go to sell things because they cost more that you sell them for more? I don't know. We're going into slightly recently uncharted territory. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I mean, you can buy things now, basically, is what the Christopher Ward email said. If you buy things now, like Paul just did, then you will avoid that potential. Aaron says, as long as my income increases proportionally to the tariffs, I'll be fine. That probably won't happen to most of us. Let's see. And again, there's so much up in the air with all that stuff. But I do know, at least on my end, the watches that I'm selling, which I think I'll be doing a drop this weekend. I need to, unless I have something crazy going on. But I'll probably drop like 30 or 40 watches. They're going to be priced the old way. They're going to be super affordable, great deals, fast shipping, all that stuff. Tim says, my raise is usually 3% if my boss has no complaints. I've heard that more and more. That's roughly what mine is too. I'm union, so like mine's going to be contractual, so I don't have to negotiate it beyond the contract negotiation. But yeah, roughly 3% a year, which doesn't really match inflation. So Stuart says 39% tariff will slow me down more than my self-control or wife could do. Good point. So, and that's probably the case for most people. And like Trep says, I'm sure a lot of collectors, they'll put the brakes on, they'll slow down, or they'll look at other options, such as, current inventory if the prices aren't going up, potentially different strap options. You can do different straps to like alter your collection and the vibe behind it, different bracelets. You can get in to buying some pre-owned stuff, maybe even some vintage stuff and have it refurbished. There's a lot of other options to keep involved in the hobby. Or you can literally dust off some oldies like this and give it a try. Or you can, buy some Invictas. I got like 40 of them for sale. You can buy an Invicta for dirt cheap and wear that and be like, yeah, whatever. 39% tariff doesn't mean nothing. Yeah, you could absolutely. I mean, I won't switch to vintage, but that's definitely an option. You could try to restore it yourself, or have it taken to a watchmaker and have it done, locally. There you go, Todd. Hit up your local watch shop now before they have to restock. That brings up another good thing, good question, because, and I'll try to talk to some ads that will let me know. Does it, so like to a certain extent, if an AD knows to replenish, say they're a Hamilton dealer, right? And say they have a Hamilton Khaki King, okay? And I don't know how much these cost, but say it's $700 now, but they know to replenish it, the new retail price is going to be like $850, right? So that's $150 difference. I'm just using weird numbers because it doesn't really matter to me, but I'm just trying to get a point across. They can't necessarily sell it at the old price if they know it's going to cost $150 more to restock that. So they almost have to adjust that price on the current inventory to be able to replenish that inventory. So, if you're trying to get ahead of the curve, I would say do it like immediately to try to avoid it. Like I'm talking tonight or tomorrow, um, and take advantage of their currently posted prices. But like, so if there's a purchase that you knew that was going to be out like a week or two or something, and you're like, oh, just things aren't aligning yet or something like that. Maybe you just rush that purchase. You just do a PayPal credit or just throw your credit card down and just make it happen and save yourself the whatever 80, 50, 100 to depending on what you're buying. It might save you thousands. I don't know. Ginger says Rob is ahead of his time. Buyers Club is the answer to tariffs. We'll see. I don't know if it's a sustainable thing for me to keep going. I definitely have like probably 200 or 300 watches left, and then I'll definitely take a break for sure, and then we'll reassess. But I have the opportunity to replenish the inventory, so definitely more towards fall, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or something like that. I'll replenish the inventory and then probably do it again. Let's see. Tim says, what's scary about the tariffs is that now you might have to really take a hit on flipping unless the used market goes up a lot too. Exactly. And only time will tell on that for sure if it rises up as well. I hope it's more temporary and we don't see the effect downstream or downstream. Yeah, upstream, downstream, wherever in the stream. Yes, for sure. If you're Tony, if you're a newer collector, though, there is alternatives. You don't necessarily have to purchase. I mean, that's really always been the case. For example, like the Seiko Monster I've had since 2014. My wife bought that for like $180 on Amazon. Fast forward into the years past that, that got inflated all the way up to like potentially up into the $800 range, settled back down, and you should be able to pick one up for about 400. But that's still twice the price of what it was back in 2014. So there was a huge spike in inflation with all of that stuff. So Todd says you found there's always Todd, I'm telling you, there is always, if you think that was the biggest collection out there like that, you're wrong. I guarantee you there's even larger ones. Yeah, there's that too, Paul. There's a lot of uncertainty. This stuff is it's a news cycle. You know what I mean? It's like boom, boom, and then things change. So like, I think it's important to not like stress about it because I guarantee you, everybody in this chat currently, and potentially everybody that even watches this live stream after it gets posted, probably could do just fine not buying a watch the rest of the year, or make smaller, more conscious purchases, even, at the end of the year, like when you're like, all right, cool, I took my 6 month break, or well, it wouldn't be that long now, it's only months, but um, you know what I mean? I know I could literally not buy a watch ever again at the current collection that I have. I'm kind of pointing over to the IKEA drawer system. Um, does that mean I'm not going to buy a watch? No. I mean, I literally bought a watch today. So I'm clearly going to buy more watches, but I'm more selective with them. They they have to have a story, and even the watch I bought today, it was a sterile purchase, but the watch actually has a story. Penguin says, "How hard are microbrands going to get hit? They're going to get hit because they're part of it. They're going to get hit." Let's see. Everyone should just buy a nice Invicta Pro Diver and be happy for a year. I'm not looking for. Probably not going to happen. And YZ80 just got 2 watches. So So I'm trying to read some commentary. Oh, that brings up a good question. Ginger Down Under. Do your watches, because like our watches run clockwise, do your watches run counterclockwise? Hmm. I wonder if that's how that works down there. Tim says it would take me darn near half a year to rotate through all the watches I'm not wearing currently. So it's probably a good thing for me to have to slow down. Let's see. Broke watch fan. Any chance the 39% will change by August? I think there's at least a 39% chance that it'll change by August 7th. The Pro Diver is the original sub homage. I think it actually is, Nick. I can't think of one prior to that. There might be, but I'm pretty sure that was the original one. Yeah, the 8926 OB. This guy right here. The one, that's why I want this one. That's why I wore it for like days. And I was like, this thing's awesome. The bracelet it came on sucks, but I think there's different bracelet options. And honestly, I like it on this strap habit, black rubber. I think it just looks clean and classic. Jeff says future purchases for me will be more thoughtful and less impulsive. Slow in my roll. That's a very good thing to practice. I've recently done that, and I think that's a healthy thing to do. Delay, and on top of that, even with that, because we can still be somewhat impulsive even with thoughtful purchasing, but also delayed gratification potentially is an option. Drew says, Rob, with your orange watch collection, I didn't see the Breitling Super Ocean. Why didn't you keep it? I think it's a great looking watch. I actually kind of regret selling that one because I definitely had a story with that one too. And I recently sold off all my watches that didn't have a story. That watch actually had a story. I could see rebuying that watch. That would be high on the list for a rebuy. Let's see. Doug says, Rob, you want to sell me your Formax Essence Lagera because that was on my list and the tariff took it off. I don't. I'm currently still kind of enjoying it, but stick around. You never know. You never know. I actually have one. It's the smaller one in the green or blue dial. I don't even know what color I have. The next size down because mine's the 43, so this is the 41 or something. I don't know. This is going to go out on a small, hand-picked watch tour in my Discord. Excuse me, just one second. So, Eric says lately strap habit has been getting my extra funds. It's kind of a fun way to just kind of keep that rolling, Dane says get creative. You can use Watch You Seek, the Real, even Poshmark, all places I found good stuff at reasonable prices. Yeah, and then be part of groups too, because you can potentially do trades if they're with trusted members and stuff. You can do trades, be part of a community potentially. There's some are too big and they're not intimate, where you gotta be careful who to trust. But Stuart says, how many people are surfing on eBay, Chrono 24 or somewhere else for a watch while watching Rob? Oscar says he does not have any strap habit. Well, if you do go over there, use my discount code, save you some money. Fedora Giant, solid advice. Trade with folks in your area. If you have the opportunity to do that, if you have, where you live, where there's a populace, where there's potentially other watch enthusiasts to be, sometimes it doesn't even have to be a permanent trade. It can just be, I'll loan you mine, I'll borrow yours and do that. So Todd is asking, does the 39% impact watch companies bringing stock to sell at shows here in the US? I would suspect it does. I don't know how that's going to work because in San Francisco, there was a ton of companies. My wife bought a Briston, which I still need to do the review on. I bought the Formex, but most of the companies were selling kind of like cash under the table sort of thing. So that was the time to do it. I don't know if that's still going to be the way to go. Fedora Jet, that's a good one. Browsing Mimo's barn finds right now. Mimo constantly gets some really good finds in there. The other one to look at too is Trifecta has some pretty good affordable pre-owns. And if you want to step it up a notch, you can do Exquisite Timepieces pre-owned collection. And the dirty little secret about that is a good portion of those are basically brand new. Trap says prices on the cruise was surprisingly low in comparison to the typical ads on land. Interesting. So maybe a ship is the way to go. I smell a Random Rob cruise 2026. Maybe that will happen. Hector says, Rob, glad you're coming to Dallas soon. Yeah, I was just down there and I had the vibe. I hung out with a bunch of locals down there and was like, yeah, I'm coming back. I need to come back to Dallas and do some more stuff there, really experience the area. So definitely check it out. Oh, yeah, Toppers too. That's another good one, Tennessee Mike. They release like what? Once a week on a certain day or something like that. Oscar says Joma Shop is always a really good option as well. A lot of these watches, this over 600 watches that I have in, a lot of those were purchased from Joma Shop. So okay, I want to read this. Tim is saying, I'm planning to reconfigure my home office with a counter similar to Random Rob's studio to organize my watch stuff better. So hopefully that can distract me from buying too. That's a solid thing to do too. Build yourself a space. If you're a watch collector and you have a large collection, whatever that means to you, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 120, whatever it is. But maybe that means you get some of these things, you like do wall mounts, you can do cubbies, you can do, again, pointing over there to the IKEA drawer system. Configure a space if you have the option in your home or apartment or wherever you're at, to have like your little sanctuary, your little space. It doesn't need to be a full room because that's not always an option. You're sharing your space potentially, but set up a nice clean space where you have your tools organized, your time grapher, your straps organized, your watches either displayed or tucked away. Spend a little bit of time, money, and thought on your space. I think that's a solid thing to do, Tim. That's a good idea. Start a YouTube channel, says Tennessee Mike. You could do that. I'd be more than happy to give you some advice. Not good advice, but advice. Tim says, and then the space can be physical limit to help enforce the one in. Also true. Like if you do one of these cases, these hold what, 30 or something? I mean, you buy a few of those, and when it's full, and then you have to like cycle them in and out. Toppers are slow. Let's see. I'm working. Trying to read some more comments here. Oh yeah, Fedora Jen says the Toppers is Friday afternoon is when they do their drop, kind of their pre-owned stuff, and there's some killer deals on there and really weird stuff because you'll get micro brands on there all the way up to like more expensive stuff. So I put it in the title. I wanted to say thank you to everybody that watches the channel. Obviously, everybody in the live stream is, more finger on the pulse type community for sure. The live stream doesn't usually get a ton of views afterward, and that's fine. I stopped even monetizing it because it doesn't matter. But I just want to say thank you. I'm rolling in close to 95,000. I think I'm at like 94. Where am I at? 94,700 something, whatever, something in there. So potentially next month I'll be at 95,000 subs, which is crazy. So yeah, that's awesome. I thought the Seiko Datsun was interesting. I agree. I would love to get my hands on one of those. I do like that one, Ginger Done Under. Do I think used prices will go up? Not right away. I think there's going to be some people that are going to probably already try to adjust that. I think that's premature. I don't think they're going to go up. They're not going to go up on my drops. So, but also, I want to get back to the subs. So I'm really close to 95,000. I I didn't prep for a 95,000 subscriber giveaway. Yeah, the Seiko Datsun. Let me see if I can find it. Who has these? I guess it's here. So let me go back to share screen. I'll hide that. Go here. No, here. No, here. Yeah, let's do that. It's loading. So yeah, check this out. So they did 3 different watches, but let's be real. This one in the middle, that's the one because it has the OG like Datsun logo on it. I kind of want that watch. I want that watch. Yes, they did it kind of for the Datsun 240Z limited edition and stuff, but my favorite Datsun of all time is the Datsun 510, the nickel dime. Hands down, my favorite Datsun of all times. I don't know what that one's limited to, but that is a really cool car. So this guy here would be the one I want. I actually kind of want it. I think I might buy it. Yeah, this one is absolutely fire. Daniel says they are priced high. There's 2,500 of them. That's a fairly limited edition. Special box and item available September of 2025. I'm going to hit up Exquisite Timepieces because I'm sure they're going to get them. Even these ones are very cool looking. I really like this one, the off-white, the SPV 513, but I got to get that Datsun one. I'm getting that one. Look at, I mean, even the case back, they did it. So what movement is 6R55? Interesting. Yeah, that's a cool watch. What size is it though? If the size sucks on it, I'm out. 1150. So it's up there. It's definitely up there. That's not that special of a box. That's just a box. Okay. 39.5 by 44. The lug to lug's a little short, but I'll figure it out. I'd like to get it on a bracelet or something. But I think I'm going to buy that. Pretty sure I'm going to buy that. Yeah, the Bruce Lee is a pretty cool watch. So it comes with a better box than that and the extra strap and everything. So yeah, it's over that. Okay. So that's the Datsun. Anyway, back to the sub count. So almost to 95,000. I'm not doing a giveaway at 95,000. I'm gonna do probably a pretty significant giveaway at 100,000. I haven't decided exactly how that's gonna look yet, though. Hector wants to know what I think of the Jaws Seiko. At first, I was like, "That's really cool." Jaws came out in '75. That was the year I was born, so kind of have that. I actually never really cared for the movie, so I was also not attached to it. And then I kind of really looked at the dial, and I'm like, I think I would get very bored with that dial very quickly. So the Jaws Seiko, it's cool. I'm sure a lot of people are going to love it. I don't want it. At some point, I'll do a video on it when I get my hands on one, but I'm not buying one. I didn't buy that. I'm not buying a $7,500 bottle of bourbon, and it wouldn't make sense for a watch channel to give away bourbon anyway. But I thought about a couple options. I hate to just give away a watch. I mean, I could do like a gift card for some of my ADs or something. I could get I think what I would rather do though, then the downside to this is it kind of limits people, but it's only limited to by them really. But I thought about offering airfare and hotel to a watch show, and then we all go and hang out and we go to the watch show and stuff like that. Something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Or or I could just offer a free entry into a cruise. But again, depending on who wins it, they probably have to be in the US, and then, logistics, they would they be able to do it? And then if they can't do it, then what do I do for them? So I don't know. And I have some time. If you look at how quickly I gain subscribers, I have time. It's going to be a little bit before I hit 100,000. So I'm not sure what model that is. What model is? Do you know the model number? Citizen Aqualand Limited Edition. Oh, is that just the black with the gold? Oh, it's sold out. I think you're talking about this one. I think that's a great looking watch, but it says sold out there, but it might be available elsewhere. I don't know. It's a cool looking watch. I like it. I dig it. $600. You can probably get it for less than that, maybe, if you can find them. It says sold out there, but I don't know how many they made either. Let's see. Does it say? Limited, but how many? Doesn't say. Or at least I don't see it. Oh, maybe it's here. 5,800. Okay. It's pretty cool. No, they made 5,800. Why they made 5,800, I don't know. That's kind of weird number, but whatever. So I don't know. It's a cool watch if you can get your hands on one. It's probably not sold out everywhere. Just because it's sold out on the website, it might be available at some retailers. Let's see. Da, 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 da. I don't have one. Hey Rob, good day to you. Good to catch you live. Thanks, ND. So 100,000 subscriber giveaway. Giveaways suck. I have no idea how to do them. They're a pain in the butt, and I never know what people really want. So I think the tools and stuff like that, I think that was a good way to go. So I might even just do that. Maybe I'll just build a bigger tool ensemble. Paul says, let's see right here. We used to wear the original one diving. I could do a watch box winder. I could do all of that. That's what I mean. I could put together a kit that is like all of the best stuff, all the stuff that I like, that I have. I could do that easily. Like I could do another time grapher, a full master toolkit. I could even probably throw in a couple watches, and I could do. I mean, heck, I could do one of the. What's that brand that does the cool wood display boxes? I'm looking at one over there. I forget what that one's called, but Holmes and Hadley or whatever. I could do one of those, and I could probably fill it with watches as 100,000 sub giveaway. So yeah, I could do something pretty elaborate. Oh, I like that, Billy. That's a good one. Yeah, that would be awesome. I could just have somebody locked in my studio, just steady working for me. That'd be awesome. I thought about that, Shaken, but I think maybe just doing it on my own. I don't know. I feel bad asking the the brands or ADs for anything. Like it's I don't know. I'm weird about that. So yeah, I could just mod it. I haven't modded the watch in so long, Dwight. I'd probably screw it up. I mean, I screwed up some, and I was doing them on the regular. It's been a while. Um, that's potentially an option because I've been keeping it under wraps, but I have a really cool project almost completely sorted. And then I don't know when it's going to be out though. It's going to be a while. This is just the conception and the renderings and the concept. Um, it's a project that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I finally found someone that was capable of doing it. And we're working through the process. So I'm excited about this one. Super excited, but I can't share it. Larry, I'm not. I know you would. I know you would, and potentially, if I go that route, you would be the first one I'd ask. But yeah, I'm not gonna. Let's see. Dwight's making a fedora a watch. That's pretty cool. I could easily just fill that box with Invictas. I mean, I could do that today if you guys. I could give away one of those Home and Hadley filled with Invictas, no problem. Just because. But I can fill it with Invictas and Casios with dead batteries. Behave, boy, behave. Looks like we have a winner. Ruben has won a box full of Invictas and dead Casios. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'll do it. We'll do something cool at 100K. I'll involve you guys. Maybe I'll do a poll, and then you guys can pick. Nah, I'll probably. I'm a control freak. I'll figure it out. Oh my god, are we done yet? I'm tired. What else you guys want to talk about? I don't think they're dead though. It's just crazy. It's just I got a bunch of these Casios, and some work, some don't. They're like Casio Duros and miscellaneous other Casios, and they need batteries. But it's going to be like a $20 or $30 watch to begin with. I'm not pulling the case back off and putting a battery in every single one, investing whatever $2 or $3 or $4 battery into a watch that's not even mine, and then to sell it for no different. So it's a pretty short story. I'll tell it. So Chris, um, what's his YouTube channel? I forget his YouTube channel name. My buddy Chris took a job with. I'm bad with remembering this stuff. The big they had a big YouTube channel. I think they still do. And he moved up to like New Jersey area or something. Was selling watches for them. What the heck was that? Watch Lounge. Thank you, Mike. Chris from the Watch Lounge took a job with Tennessee Mike. Fill in the blank. What's that company that was up there? They sell a lot of watches. Blah blah blah. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, Roman Atwood or something like that. No, it's not Atwood. But Roman, and it was a big company, and they were growing really fast. All the watch companies were selling really fast. Yeah, that's it. Thanks. It was Alaska Watch World. Super helpful. Wet. No, it's Luxury Bazaar. Tennessee Mike. What Tennessee Mike? Why don't you just tell the story? But anyway, Chris was selling watches, and he knows I like orange dial watches, and I like Breitling. So he hit me up. He's being salesman, but also like he's probably the worst salesman there is because he actually connects with the people and actually really cares about the person and not so much the transaction. So he hit me up and made me an incredible deal on the orange dial Breitling Super Ocean, the old gen with the 12, 6, and 9 and the date at 3 o'clock. It was really cool, kind of cartoony looking. He hooked me up with a crazy good deal on it. And that was a used watch. It was a little beat up and stuff like that, but I couldn't pass up the deal. So, and I had already had the white with the blue. So I didn't really want two of them, but I couldn't pass it up. So I bought it from Chris. So it was the first watch that I bought from Chris that was on a journey in life to try to do more. So like that's kind of the story. And I knew Chris before. I watched him kind of go through this journey and stuff like that, and I took part in it per se. He made way bigger sales than mine, obviously, but that was the simple story behind that watch. That's all it was. But he doesn't work there anymore, so and he still posts videos. The Watch Lounge. He just posted a video recently. So journey on life. It really changed his trajectory in life. And if you talk to Chris now, he would fully admit that. He has no regrets making that move, going to work with Roman and that crew and doing Luxury Bazaar and doing that because he still has a lot of those connections. Yeah, he moved back closer to his hometown, I think Myrtle Beach area or something. And he's still doing the YouTube channel. He's still just grinding and doing other things. But it really changed the way he looked at things. So I think it was a really smart experience for him to kind of endure. It wasn't easy for him. It got Chris out of his comfort. Exactly. 100%. I got Chris out of his comfort zone for a bit and good for him. Yes, it was probably super scary. It was risky but he had to do it because he was if he didn't do it, he was never going to do it sort of thing, you know what I mean? And that's the case for a lot of us. I don't know if I mean, I've had a steady Eddie job for like 20 since 2000, so 25 years. So, yeah, there was some girlfriend changes and everything. You're right, Dane, on that too. So, I like to think yeah, Wet Watches going to California and hanging out there is outside his comfort zone. That's interesting. That's not true. I know Wet Watches a little bit more than that. Um, Speaking of Wet Watches, I haven't seen a video posted by Wet Watches in a long time. It used to be a really good YouTube channel, and now he just comes on here and drops weird comments. But he used to put out some really cool videos. Dude, what was on the street outside the coffee shop? I don't know. There was, yeah, we had a great time at the coffee shop. It was a little eclectic outside with the littering. 2-minute warning. I'm getting close to, is it 2 minutes? Yeah, roughly 2 minutes. I would do a loom shot, but I didn't set up the second camera. I just got done recording right before the live. I recorded the video on this, the Boulder Conquer, which these are on pre-order over at Wind Up Watch Shop. Doesn't come with this strap. This strap is an offering from Strap Habit, which I think he's sold out, but you can go over to the Wind Up Watch Shop and you can get these straps if you're interested in these very bizarre colorways. I know Dane is definitely going to head on over there after the live stream and probably pick up one of every size. I know that's definitely up his alley. But very cool watch. So I'll be releasing that video really soon. Okay, so Dane, let me ask you this. This strap or orange camo? You only get to pick one. Which one am I wearing? This one or orange camo? Let's see. Homer color's better. I don't even know what that means. Homer can't even see color. No, Dane, you can't just throw up the puke emoji. You got to pick one. I'm putting it on you. I know it's outside your comfort zone because you don't like either one of them. Nope. How about either or neither? You got to pick one. I'm guessing you're going to pick the orange camo. Yeah, I think it's a super fun color combo. And get this, the strap is $29. 100% of the sale of these straps goes towards a cancer fundraiser charitable donation thing. The watch, if you buy the watch, it actually comes on this green strap. So it comes on this nice green strap with matching titanium hardware. And I think $80 of every sale of the watch goes to it's a Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation. I don't know anything about it though. Oh, I see what you're saying. That would be a cool strap. Has anybody done that? Has anybody done the watch strap like that? That would be really cool. Okay. I think I'm done. My glass is empty. I'm over an hour. We talked about a few things. We read some comments. You guys said some things. Yes, we need a Desert Warrior strap. I am going to hit up Nick at Strap Habit right now, and we're gonna make that happen. Bean Boy, be ready. We're gonna do that. No loom. There's no loom. There probably is loom in here. There's a lot of loom in here. But I'm done. I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for joining.